The state of the gaming industry has been, what would I say, the most in the industry? I mean, there's a lot that's been going on with the gaming industry. First, COVID happened, and now there's like prices are going up and stuff, and you know, gaming industry is just not doing so well. Apparently, these budgets with these big AAA games are getting so out of control that there's so many layoffs. And apparently, they're playing it safe of doing sequels and stuff. And heck, they won't even let people do spin-offs anymore because it's so big of a risk. The higher ups with these gaming franchises has gotten so big with budget and trying to nickel and dime every player. It's not sustainable anymore. It's just not. And thing is, I've heard from some people that when you play a game nowadays, it feels like a job and you're always running a marathon. I didn't understand this at first until I realized when I played Sonic Frontiers. Okay, I'm going to give you a backstory here. I was really excited about Sonic Frontiers, like, really hyped. Like, it was the best game of all time. And yes, there was some obstacles that was really hard, and I kind of needed to look up tutorials and stuff, but I dealt with the difficulty. But okay, I had to go through one, two, three, four open worlds, which was insane of its ambitions already, which I was really excited. And one thing I did not think that was going to happen near the end is that its scope got so ambitious and so out of control that I felt overwhelmed. There was just so much going on screen, like lasers, parkour, puzzles, bosses with parkour. I mean, it was just insane. My mind just couldn't reprehend it. I mean, I was even hoping that I could skip some of these puzzles and stuff because it was just that insane. On every puzzle on the final level, you have to be absolutely perfect. One mistake could be your biggest mistake, and I kid you not. So, one thing that I always wondered that would be a problem later on is that Sonic Frontier has this weird problem like certain parkour and objects don't appear until you get closer, and I didn't think it was going to be a problem until I played the last open world. The objectives was so unbelievably impossible to do. I mean, basically, these parkour sections were so far from each other, and since you had to get close to be able to see the parkour, dude, it was like insane because I could not for the life of me figure out where this parkour was. It was that bad. And to make things worse, okay, so I did really enjoy the Sonic levels, no doubt about it. But then it started getting tedious and stuff. But the Tails levels and all the other characters, I could not for the life of me do those challenges. I mean, I did a Tails level, and dude, I had to think so hard to get through this obstacle that I got a headache. At one point, I even needed to sleep because my headache got so bad. I tried to push through. I went through the Sonic levels just as always. And man, the ambition was so crazy and so hard that honestly, I've never felt like this before, but it felt like a job. It felt like an actual marathon every time you play it. And it made me exhausted at the end. And it was Sonic Frontiers wasn't fun anymore. Instead of being a really good game became the most difficult and exhausting game I've ever experienced. And to make matters worse, when it comes to platforming, apparently there was these bosses in between, and if you were to fall down, you would encounter the boss if you fell down from the parkour section. I mean, the ambition was too much. I mean, it just overlapped with everything. And then I made it to, I was this close to finishing it. I don't know how close, but it was a lot still, obviously. But then the platforming broke. There was a bug that I encountered. You know that auto platforming where you have to do all the platforming stuff with pressing a button? Well, the bug made it so I can't do that anymore. So basically, my situation was, I spent months and months playing this game, and I run into a bug where I can't even do the platforming because it bugged out. I even contacted Connor to see what I could do about it. He said to restart the game and see if that did it. It did work, but when I went back to the game, it just didn't. That bug, it was completely there. No matter what I did, I could not get rid of this bug. It was so bad that I couldn't finish it. And I didn't want to start the whole game over. I mean, I spent months on this game. And I did not want, for the love of God, I did not want to start over. So what I did was sold Sonic Frontiers, and honestly, I feel like I wasted my time. I truly feel like Sonic Frontiers was a big waste of time because of the hard platforming, over ambition that made me overwhelmed, and just a whole bunch of other factors. And that's why I think gaming has gotten so ambitious to the point where it's not sustainable anymore. Budgets are getting too big. We need to scale down at some point because the gaming industry is just suffering. And because this economy is getting worse, it's only going to get worse from here. There's only going to be more firings and more firings. And thing is, I know there's going to be a game crash at one point. The only games that are thriving right now is indie games, which is good for them, but these AAA games, they're just getting way out of control. Budgets are getting too big. Employment is getting completely insane. They'll play things safe. They'll use live services that they're gonna. It's just it feels like the gaming industry is just not gonna contain anymore. It just truly feels like that one day this gaming industry is going to end up paying the consequences, and we are seeing that right now. And I just wish the gaming industry would get better. I know things will get worse before better, but how many times must I say that with every situation? I mean, I'm still honestly wondering how worse things will get in 2024. But besides that, the gaming industry is just at its absolute worst. Anyways, this is Josh signing out.